All right, you're on.
In 2005, a new CBA eligibility rule, also known as a collective bargaining agreement, was enforced into the NBA, which stated that all players who want to be entered into the NBA draft must at least attend 1 year of college and receive 1 year of college education. My proposition is that the new eligibility rule is very beneficial to the players that are playing in the NBA. My first claim is that players are able to develop their skills in college, which will definitely help them when they go to the NBA. Players will be better prepared for a next level type of game. Obviously, the NBA is harder than playing in college, but more experience in playing will allow those players to become better. And according to ESPN.com, which is edited by millions of sports writers and editors around the world, states that 5% of the rookies who were drafted into the NBA after college had a better shooting percentage than those that were drafted out of high school. It also states that players who were drafted out of college have 3% less turnovers than those who came out of high school, which basically means that they didn't make as many mistakes. And a lot of people say, they'll argue that someone like Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Kevin Garnett, all those players came out of high school and have had amazing basketball careers so far. But the one thing that they don't realize is players like J.J. Redick, O.J. Mayo, and Kevin Durant, who all came out of college and entered the NBA, actually have much better statistics as a rookie than all three of those players and many others that came out of high school, which further support the fact that they are better able to develop their skills in college. Next, not only can they better their skills, but obviously when they go to college, they further their education, and this will save players that are no longer able to play basketball, whether they get injured or, like now, there is question whether the NBA will even exist and whether there will be games. And a lot of players are out of a job. Obviously, all-stars like Kobe Bryant are going overseas and playing in Italy, but what about those rookies who have just been drafted out of college and pretty much have no other options? A lot of players depend on the NBA's money. So if they, let's say they get injured, can no longer play, they have somewhat of a college education that can get them a job, that can help support them. But without that education, they would pretty much be back to square one. A good example of why college education would help is with what happened to Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley was a great basketball player, played for the Pacers, and made millions of dollars each year. And what ended up happening is, near the end of his career, he got involved with some shady people and ended up losing millions of dollars in Vegas. And he had to start off, very low with a little amount of money and kind of work his way back up. And he basically, he came straight out of high school, didn't have a college education, and it was very hard for him to, rebuild his life and and be successful again. Also, college can keep players out of trouble. Many NBA players have convicted felonies. Obviously, you see it all over the news. And according to ESPN, again, 8% more 8% more players that came out of high school are convicted of felonies than those that came out of college. Players become more educated. They have other tasks that they can do besides playing basketball that will allow them to stray away from groups that could get them into trouble. Also, it helps their personal image. When someone is talking that has an education, you can tell they know what they're talking about. They're well spoken. And a lot of times players are interviewed, and this just helps their personal image and also that of the NBA, because it shows that they have not only quality basketball players, but quality people who have a good education. So basically, my proposition is that the new CBA rules are beneficial to the players because, one, their skills are developed, two, it saves players from going into poverty or having a harsh life, and three, because players are further educated and able to be kept out of trouble.
All right, the main claim is labeled pretty well. The subject, you give some good background on. There's no setup of what the secondary claims are going to be. Your internal signposting is okay, but it could be a lot sharper. I like some of the statistical data that you have, although I'd like a little bit more information on how that was accumulated and what the some of the comparative data was. I think you're making a big inference on Charles Barkley being broke because he was stupid. I mean, he's stupid, but that's not because he didn't go to college. You know, that's just because he's stupid. I think that... And I think that you have some of those same problems with some of the other arguments that you're making too. But on the other hand, like I said, I did like some of the statistics you presented. Okay, go to your lab.